Hi, ScrappyKathy here with installment number 3 of my November 29th to present day layout share. I've worked my way down to a reasonable size stack to tackle in this last video. And so I'm going to start again with an Ava layout. I forget what the challenge was here. Use bright colors and some black and white. So bright colors, not a problem for me. I think there were at least 2 of us, maybe 3 of us, doing the crop that weekend that used this Vicki Boutin paper for the background for this, and I used this black and white photo and frames that kind of picked up some of the colors, some of those, more of those Vicki Boutin ephemera from Field Notes, and I think this is also from a Vicki Boutin pad that I had. Just a happy turkey day. I think that I did this one around, this one was done on November 30th, so Thanksgiving was on our minds. Fairly simple layout. I like the vertical line. The frames kind of add some interest and give me a base for the embellishments, and the embellishments are kind of supersized. So I think I didn't need many of them, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So that's the first one from this part of the share. This next one is a hybrid layout. I did these stitches and the mixed media digitally and printed it on white 12 by 12 photo paper, and then added some acrylic frames and another frame here. The challenge was to do a page, it's an in the frame challenge to use at least 2 frames, some tags, and the journaling should be about me. And I picked a kind of an abstract photo, ran it through 4 different filters, and printed it in a grid, and framed half the grid this way and the whole grid with this frame. Had butterflies that I cut from junk mail. There are 3 of them here, 3 different pieces of junk mail. This tag that has my name on it came in the gosh, let's see, when did I do this? Yeah, that was done on December 8th. So that tag came from my Secret Not Secret Advent calendar kit that I got. And this is a little bit of a fabric tag that I have and some satin ribbon. The journaling is intentionally obscured. I journaled right over the mixed media. And how I do digital stuff, by the way, some people are confused by this, but I do not know how to use Photoshop Elements. I will freely admit that. For being an IT geek for 40 years, that program does way more than I usually have any intention of doing. So what I do is I buy digital elements and I import them into my word processing system on the Mac, which is called Pages. And then I resize it and turn it around or flip it or do whatever I need to do. And then I put a text box. In this case, I overlaid a text box and used the word processing system as a word processor and put words in it. So I kind of talk about how my name used to be Kathy, and then it became Mom, and then it became Grandma, and as the grandkids are growing up, it's back to Kathy again. So that's hence the name, the title on this lovely little, painted on this little round of wood by Christina Swords. So I ended up with a layout that I actually love, and it's kind of a me-centered one, which usually makes me uncomfortable. But I kind of like that one. This one is for complete change of pace. The journaling is in this little read this, and the photo is of my son and husband playing shuffleboard at a condo we rented in South Padre Island, and it's a simple, I forget what the requirements were, I've lost my journaling, and it's upside down. It's Scrap and Amy's challenge to use her color scheme and a lot of layering. And in her color scheme, she used lots of box of crayons and other Chamel Glitter Girl stuff. So I pulled out all the Chamel I could find, and this was the result. So put that over there. We had back to the For the Love of Pretty Paper Winter Olympics. I think the challenge was bobsleigh, and I used a picture that I took from a sleigh that we were riding in Salzburg, Austria, back in 1999, and used the black and white background, which was kind of unexpected, but it allows the photo to pop out. Had some pink behind it, used pink and aqua as the main, colorways in here, and some beige. I never knew what I was going to do with these beige large enamel dots. I tend not to like large or beige in enamel dots, so I was happy to use those. Okay, this one is a show about, this was, we were challenged to do a page about our favorite reality show. And for us, it's The Amazing Race. So I had a map, a photo of us at a well-known travel monument. Never mind the construction back there. It's all of that construction is finished, and the new park around the St. Louis Arch is completed, and we hope to see it someday, but apparently not this year. I've got some tickets, some tags from an Amy Tangerine roll of tags. I've used my beige and white because I have the craft color background, and I've got lots of beiges back there to allow the blue to pop out. And I actually went out and found I Googled an icon or the title icon from The Amazing Race, and I printed it and fussy cut it out for my title. So it shows a globe and planes flying all around the globe, going, gone. Simple page, but I never would have thought to do a page about our favorite reality show. So I love when I get prompts that push me to do something that I might not otherwise document. But I think this will be meaningful one of these days when Amazing Race is off the air, although I hope that's never. Okay, this one was to Scrapbook and Emotion. This was inspired by Memories Christmas Countdown Challenge, and we had to use a stencil, I think, and layering. So I had this at the Collective Creativity Retreat in Charlotte. Tisa Marini Brown actually found this on the giveaway table, and she said, "Ooh, don't you have a grandson who does sports? Could you use this basketball?" So I thought, oh wow, I'd love that. And then I got it into my stash and thought, how on earth am I going to use that? So I had taken these photos, really practicing the portrait mode and with like portrait lighting on my new iPhone, and I loved the photos, and they kind of reflected the disappointment over the very close loss that they had. It was a game they should have won, and I say, aren't they all? Ended with the good guys down by 2, could easily have gone the other way. And I decided to do the title along the curve of the ball. And I splattered it because I wanted the basketball to look a little bit more used than it did. And some of these, a lot of these, the layering of circles I did are there because it's about a ball game. And a lot of these are die cuts through different watercolor cards I did to demonstrate watercolor techniques in a video for a Secret Not Secret party months and months ago. And so I scanned them, and this is what I do with all my watercolors. I scan them, and then I print them and die cut them and use them as layering pieces or matte photos, or even as large pieces or backgrounds, or as card fronts. Okay, here's another sports one, but shows my son carrying my grandson off the field. This one was, the challenge was to talk about our favorite, it was our favorite television show, and we were currently streaming Silent Witness, and Silent Witness is about pathologists. And so the rooms that they operate in are typically gray, hospital standard looking rooms, but then there's all of that, and it makes that when they cut into a corpse, the blood shines really red. So I kind of took this one to the limits and may have gone off prompt here a bit, but I titled it "Cut" because it's to signify that he hurt his knee again, and we were scared that he had hurt it a few weeks before and thought maybe it hadn't healed or it was worse than we thought it was. So at the time I did this page, and until he had seen the doctor, we didn't know whether he'd be cut from football for the rest of the season. Turns out everything was fine, and he wasn't, and he's still playing. So I had this little scissor punch that I did in red. So it's the only element of red on the otherwise gray background. So that was kind of my homage to Silent Witness. Great series. I think only the last, 19 seasons are available for free. You have to buy the others, and we didn't watch the earlier ones, but we really enjoyed the later ones. Okay, here's a page that was, I even actually note on the label that it was at the Secret Not Secret party, but I forgot what the prompt was. I did it, when I do these parties, I'm just doing layout after layout after layout while still trying to live life and cook meals and go to football games and things like that. So what this one is documenting is our Thanksgiving Day. These are some favorite things from Thanksgiving. These photos were taken on our back deck that were meant to capture the fall color while it was actually still on the trees. And I used more Cheeky Studio florals. I forget where this came from or this. I'm not sure any of the rest of the supplies are notable, but this is a Bramble Fox acrylic piece. Okay, I just got buzzed to do Fitbit Steps, so I'm going to rush through these. This one was to use a chevron and scallops. So I've got chevron washi tape here, and the scallops are on this background paper, and I thought that kind of reflected waves. It's a very minimalist page for me, and notable here, I actually die cut the word fish out of the green checked paper and green foam so that I could make my own thickers. I was excited about that. And I used these little glittery X's and had the fish flying across those. So simple page. This one is an all black and white challenge, I think, I would guess. Pictures from the basketball game we attended that day. Knights 40-something, opponents 20-something, Barrett #1. This picture, this photo right here is, I took a photo of the seat in the stands, which had some abstract looking, it looked like a label or something that had been on there 20 years ago, and butts in seats kind of, obscured it. And so it was open. I took a photo of it, converted it to black and white, and it's almost a background paper, the way I'm using it here. And used some washi tape, measuring, some foam thickers, some root beer float thickers. Black and white page. Love when I have those challenges, but it's probably not something I would ever set out to do on my own. This one has a dark secret. I bought a pad some time ago, years or months ago, that were pre-done scrapbook pages. And so I took a pre-done scrapbook page, popped the picture in where it was supposed to go. This was cut out, so the photo went behind it, and it kind of fit in there. And I added buttons and jewels, and there's some more buttons, and wrote in some dates. And this page took me maybe 10 minutes to do, and it's just great. It was perfect for the photo of Barrett. That's my little football player back when he was considering baseball at the time. So I don't use that very often. I kind of feel like it's cheating, but I used it for that one, and it came out cute. This one, another one about Barrett, is from the Secret Not Secret party. And this is I did a very small sampler using Distress Oxide inks and a stamp set that I'd gotten in a Secret Not Secret kit. And I loved it so much, I scanned it and then printed it larger, tore the edges, added a star there and a few stars all around, and did Barrett's this year's school picture from 20, and did some journaling around the edges. An extremely simple layout, but it looks like there's art there. It's just a print of my own art. So I do that a lot. This one was for a minimalist challenge where we were supposed to have a lot of white space, and we were supposed to use colors, stencil, paint, enamel dots, and ribbon. I've got all those things there. Again, I cut out the peekaboo and made my own thickers. Let's see if you can see that they're thick. Cut them out of green foam and used the green paper. And I used a variety of papers for banners. All those colors are probably somewhere contained in the striped background. And this is not a very good picture because Barrett looks yellow. The yellow of that slide he's climbing through is kind of reflected on him, and there's a piece of his sister's skirt or sleeve or something showing right there. But I still love the expression on his face and decided to use it. I'm going to do one more. I've got, let's see, what is this one? This one is Scrap Lift a Member, and Patricia Flores had done a beautiful layout that was this vertical strip in the very middle of her layout. She had strips of paper on the sides and here, and she had two photos that were taken of the same person, just a little bit different poses. Snapped a picture and the person moved and she snapped another picture. I didn't have any sequences like that, so I used the same photo, ran it through two different filters. This is Katie and Barrett at the Botanical Gardens, or as Ava calls it, the Botanical Gardens. I used a wood Happy as a Lark. I got that on the giveaway table at Heather's Retreat. Some other wood. I've got a little tiny photo of the botanical garden itself there, which is something else Patricia did in hers. A couple of Cheeky Studio flowers. This is, again, these two are from that We Are Memory Keepers chalkboard collection. So loved doing that layout. I love that design. This is one that uses Cheeky Studios and some Echo Park and some box of crayons and all kinds of collections. I think the challenge here was to use a non-crafty item to play a major role. So this yellow stuff is netting that's used to reinforce concrete when you're putting a waterproof coating on it, and that we did that. We live in the basement of our son's home, and there was some water seeping into the basement, so we had to have all the earth pulled away from that and the concrete redone, and they used this yellow netting. And there was some left over, and this was back in 2011. So I used that netting, and it kind of went over, and you can kind of see the designs underneath it. These are pictures of the girls. The title of the page is Happy Girls, and I used photos of Ava and Katie hugging, Katie with Allie, and Ava with her friend Catherine doing Musical.ly videos. So just happy pastimes, and my suggestion to them is dream a little and plan a lot. Back to a Christmas one that I must have done. This is I've got a piece that has come undone. I did this one was a hexagon challenge. So I did a Christmas layout using tropical, these are elements from Wild Heart crepe paper collection, and they're not at all Christmas papers, but and this sticker has kind of unstuck itself. That's, again, the problem with stacking layouts. So I used more of those little chipboard pieces, and I had this one that was white, and I added the Santa Loves Palms. I have enamel Christmas lights along a garland of philodendron leaves. This was done for a card that I never sent, so I cut it out and used it here. And of course the picture, the photo, the reason the tropical makes sense is the photo is of Santa lying in a hammock between two palm trees. And sadly, that inflatable no longer exists, but we loved it when we had it. Okay, and gosh, I see here that this is the paper I cut those scissors out of for that other layout, and I covered it up with the photo, but some of the adhesive is showing through, so I'm gonna have to fix that. That goes in the fix-it pile. Okay, quickly, this one it's all about the hair. It's on the way down to Florida for to visit relatives for Thanksgiving in 2010. They stopped to get haircuts, James and his two kids, and there was this great mural on the wall behind the line of chairs in the waiting room. And so the kids were acting silly and posing, and I just love that picture. So I picked up on some of the colors, used, the reds and blacks and whites. On that same trip down to Florida, this was a picture of Katie and Barrett in the pool. They were in this pool down in Florida. We were at a different place in Florida at Pensacola at Margaritaville. And I did this one on the slant using tropical elements, using Stay Wild, I think this was a sketch challenge, a sketch challenge. So used like outlines from stickers, la 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 tag, just lots of embellishments that signify tropical and happy happy things. And I'm not sure why I put that strip of glitter paper there, but the colors seemed appropriate and I kind of like it. Here's one that's on some textured paper, and I'm not sure where I got that, but I think this is my last sheet. I love it. It's got tropical flowers embossed on the papers. These are photos, prints of scans of this artwork, 2 pieces of artwork that I did for a video, mixed media video. And I love this picture of Katie and Barrett doing the mud run, the obstacle run, and they're jumping over logs that are on fire, and at the Rugged Maniac race. And I put this one together very quickly. That's right. The technique I was showing was using distress oxides on photo paper. So the very mild-mannered distress oxide colors just really brighten up when you wipe them with the baby wipe. So that's what that is. Those are the actual prints. Okay, the last one is actually one of the first ones I did on the 29th. And it was from For the Love of Pretty Paper's Winter Olympics. And we were to show something that designated teams. And on this one, I call this a team effort. It was a picture of the kids posing as if they're holding up that huge boulder at Rock City in Chattanooga, Tennessee, which was where Ava picked for her birthday party in, let's see, I want to say 2015. So I called it team effort, and I had fussy cut these flowers out of an American Girl doll pad of paper. It was an 8x8 pad of paper that had these pretty flowers, and I just fussy cut them and used all of the ones I was able to fussy cut, including a bee and a couple of butterflies. So that's another 29 minutes of how I spent my winter vacation. So I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you again. I'd ask that in the comments, let me know whether this is something that you'd like to see more of, or if you're pretty much burned out by these 3. This is the last of it. I probably, if I did another one, I probably wouldn't do it until the end of January. Kind of, I don't expect to be terribly productive in January, but February is the load challenge, the layout a day challenge at Scrap Happy. And in March is the Calvin Ball challenge, which used to be at Get It Scrapped, and now it's going to be over on at Scrap Happy. And then there will be weekend crops. I think Mind the Scrap is having a crop in January, so I'll do quite a few then. So I'm into organizing right now, and that's what I'm going to do as soon as I press end on the video. Enjoy. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. ScrappyKathy out.